Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Specialty coffee chain Blue Tokai, which recently bagged $35 million, is now looking to expand into the bubble tea market with its eyes set on making an acquisition in the space. That's a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Not just that, after already expanding to Japan, the coffee startup will also open a new cafe in the Middle East. In a chat with Aishwarya Anand on the sidelines of Founders Retreat in Dubai, Matt Chitharanjan, the CEO of Blue Tokai, elaborates more on the plans. Take a look.
When you started out, you were the only specialty coffee that we had in India, right? So I want to understand that what led you to start the business?
Yeah, so if I look at how starting Blue Tokai was really a reflection of my own personal coffee journey. So in college, I used to be a Starbucks drinker, but that was really for the caffeine kick, to help me study. It was only after graduating, and then I moved to San Francisco and got exposed to specialty coffee. And that's when I found that coffee could be so much more than just a functional drink. Where it comes from, how it's roasted, how it's brewed, all can lead to this incredibly flavorful beverage. And so as part of that, I started roasting coffee on my own as a hobby. So fast forward several years later, I moved to India, I was working there, and I was really struggling to find a good cup of coffee. So there were places that were having commodity coffee that was roasted a long time ago. It didn't really have the flavor that I was used to
that you were looking for.
And so I found that there were estates that were growing very high quality coffee, but they weren't focused on the domestic market. They were focused on exporting that coffee outside of India because they didn't feel that Indian consumers were ready to appreciate the quality of coffee.
Yeah.
So my partner and I, Namita, we felt there would be other people like us who were looking for a flavorful cup of coffee.
Correct.
And so we went down and convinced those growers to sell us their export quality coffee, and then we started as a small kind of mom and shop business.
So I want to understand that how many mom and shop did you start out with? Was it just one? Which city did you start out from? And today, if I have to ask, how many stores have you already expanded to in India?
So the first cafe was in a small gully in Saydul-Ajab, which is kind of an urban village of Delhi.
Correct.
No natural footfalls, but we found that people were seeking us out just for the quality of coffee that we were offering.
Correct.
So that's when we found that having our own physical cafe and physical footprint was really important. And from there, we started expanding. So now we're at 130 locations across 7 cities in the country.
There have been reports that have suggested that you're planning to get into the boba tea market. Is it true? Are you looking at acquiring any company there?
Actually, I think it has a lot of potential.
It has a lot of potential, correct.
If I look at the way that India is going to develop, it's probably more likely to take the Asian route than a Western
100%.
route. And if you look at Asian markets, bubble tea is as big as coffee.
Okay, so by when should we expect an announcement on that?
I think it'll be a couple months.
Couple of months, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Let's talk a little bit about the business. I want to understand how is Blue Tokai doing? What does your revenue look like?
Just under a 400 crore run rate right now.
Okay.
And last month we did turn EBITDA positive on a company level. So that was a great achievement for us.
Okay, and what is the target for next year?
Next year, in terms of revenue,
In terms of revenue?
we're looking at around 60 to 70% growth.
Okay.
And targeting a 4% EBITDA margin.
Any plans to go the IPO route? Because that's the newest trend.
So
yes?
I think there are very few beverage companies, and I think that if we're able to reach, we have a clear path to reaching this 1,000 crore number with a 15% company level EBITDA margin. I think that would be a very attractive IPO candidate. So that's our goal.
So what's the timeline that you're looking at?
I think it'll take around 3.5 years for us to reach that.
3.5 years. Okay, all right. You've just raised funds this year, and I want to understand where did the capital go to, and in terms of what's more in the pipeline, could you elaborate a little bit on that?
So we'll be going deeper into our existing markets. We'll be looking at expanding into a few new cities in the next year. And then as part of that, we have to upgrade our back end to support the growth. So we're actually in the process of opening a new state-of-the-art bakery with Suchali's in Bangalore. That'll be open next month. We'll be upgrading our roasting capabilities as well. So, but the main capital we'll be going to is opening up more cafes for us.
Could you just put a ballpark figure on the kind of share that you're getting from your online sales, offline sales? What does the revenue mix look like there?
Right now, the majority of the revenue comes from the cafes. So around 80% of the overall turnover is coming from the cafes. The remaining is split fairly equally between the D2C and the B2B business.
What are the global expansion plans like? Yeah. I mean, how many countries are you currently selling your coffees to? And experience center-wise, are there countries that you're looking to open to? And what's the plan with the UAE market?
Yeah. So actually, 2 years ago, we opened up a subsidiary in Japan. So we've been in Japan for the past 2 years. And 3 months ago is when we opened our first cafe there. So the idea is that we'll be expanding and opening up a few more cafes in Japan there. We see that as a market that has a lot of potential. Now, India is very close to UAE. There are a lot of Indian consumers within the UAE who are aware of the brand.
Diaspora here.
Yeah. So we see as UAE as a really the next market that we're looking at. So we're currently evaluating partners, and we expect to do something here in a few months, actually. Start something.
Okay. So are you looking at you're looking at opening cafes?
Opening cafes.
Opening cafes.
Yeah.
So, okay.